You ready?
Yeah, at the combine, there was a question they asked. I'll ask you this: you testing you at the combine here.
Give me. Let's go.
If you're in, like, think about where you would go if you're gonna go snowboarding. There's any mountain, sure, mountain. You're on a bus in Aspen, and the bus is going down the hill. You're on like it's like a 2-lane road, and the bus loses its brakes. Where do you want to be sitting?
Can I ask a question, or I just have to get an answer? Does the bus have a back exit door?
Yeah, it's a bus. It's a school bus.
The front. I don't know why though.
The answer they want to hear from the quarterbacks is
the front
or the driver.
Yeah,
that's what the first thing that came to my mind is the fucking back. Because if it hits something, I'm gonna be safe.
That's literally what I was gonna say. But I know what I guessed what they wanted for a quarterback.
That's what I did too, and I said the front or driving. But the first thing you think is, well, the back's gonna be the safest place.
Dive right out the back.
The back's gonna be the safest place.
Out.
But you obviously know what they want to hear,
right?
And that's an example. But
yeah,
going back to what I was saying with Philly, I'm in Philly. It's 3 a.m. I get a text from somebody I know saying, "Hey, the Rams just traded up to 1. They're taking you. They're not announcing it tonight. It was the night. It's okay. It was the night of Kobe's last game with the Lakers. That same night, if you remember that.
Went for
yeah, he
60,
went for like 60.
61.
So that was the big LA storyline. So like, hey, we're not going to release this tonight. Tomorrow morning you'll hear it.
Mm-hmm.
All right, cool. So I can't sleep after this. So it's like 3 a.m. I have my visit with the Eagles at 7.
You're just like in your room, like punching in the mirror.
Yeah.
Got this.
I'm going in to meet with the Eagles at 7. I know this is coming. No one else knows this is coming. I've just been told in the middle of the night it was coming. Yeah. At about 10 o'clock, I'm meeting with like a psychologist. They're like texting me on other stuff, and my phone just starts like, zzz, 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 and I'm like, okay, it just dropped. Like that's how I knew. But then from there.
So what was the news though? It was just that they traded up.
Traded up to 1.
They
needed a quarterback. They're going to draft a quarterback. It was either me or Carson. Mm-hmm. As time went on, we figured it was me. Mm-hmm. The Eagles then traded up to 2, took Carson.
Crazy.
And
that fucking worked out too. You guys are actually official. It worked.
Yep.
So, mind state wise, right? Those 3 weeks when you know, mm-hmm. Are you just on cloud 9? Are you anxious?
It's anxious because you don't really you're like, there's no way, like this is real. Like it's kind of all like happening all so fast. Like I said, I went from I'm not leaving college to you're the first pick in like 8 months, maybe like 6 months.
Crazy.
And it all happened like so fast. So then you start settling into it. And then the draft was in Chicago, get out Chicago, had a lot of my friends with me, a lot of family, and we kind of know what's going to happen. Like you're still expecting it to happen.
Right.
The morning of, got some texts from the Rams with the staff that was there saying like, hey, we'll see you tomorrow, like stuff like that. So that's when you really know, like, all right, like I can relax now.
So it takes a little of that edge off.
Absolutely, yeah. So you're kind of relaxed. You go through this big long day of the draft day. It's big, doing media,
I always wondered that because I see the clips of the guys.
Yes.
Like, so you see clips of guys like stressing it out. They clearly aren't informed and they're rattled and like they don't really know. They're not informed of what's happening
in like the green room
with their status as far as
Absolutely.
like right. But I remember I saw yours and I see like how many people in that first round know? Probably just you, maybe
me and Carson.
That's it
in our round for sure. Yeah, that's really it.
Crazy.
Totally, and that's
what a benefit. You could swag it out on TV, but
absolutely,
like,
that's like
cool and collected.
Absolutely, and you can that's like the pro of it. The con is like honestly, I know this is gonna sound like weird, but you have this long day of getting to the draft, like doing media and interviews and all this stuff, and doing tweets and Instagram posts, and it's a long day. I finally got to the draft, got to sit down, and I'm like, fuck, I gotta leave in like 20 minutes. Like as soon as I draft you, you're out, you're doing media again. You're right in the back, you're doing media again. I know what's gonna happen. Carson knows what's gonna happen. Mm-hmm. I'm like, I'm only gonna get to sit here with my family now for another 20 minutes, and then I gotta start up again.
Right.
But yeah, it's
champagne problems,
obviously a blessing. I'm not complaining about it. It's totally fine.
All.
But that's kind of like the pros and cons.
Right. So fast forward, you go kind of a lot of alignment to your Cal career.
Absolutely. Yeah.
and that pace thing that you talk about,
Sure.
you go in and have I heard we were talking about it out there, but we should dive into it. So not only did you have this whole new experience and all this pressure, everything, right? There's a new coach, Jeff Fisher.
No, Jeff was the current coach.
Already the coach. Okay. New city, at least, right?
Yep.
Were you the first? You guys were the first team in
first draft in LA. First draft picks, yeah.
So you have all that, and then we were just talking about it. You're thrown into this fucking Hard Knock shit.
Yep.
Which, we were talking about my TV show, and we were comparing it. Let's get into it a little bit, but I can't, for us, we were doing our show on tour, and I remember thinking, I regret signing up for this. You know what I mean? We signed up for it. We did it,
How long into it did that take?
So I told you, we haven't really talked about this publicly. So we actually shot our initial pilot geared towards MTV VH1.
Mm-hmm.
I was single, very ready to mingle. And it was we shot a pilot over a span of probably a few weeks of tour. I mean, we didn't hold back one motherfucking thing. To the point where it would have been groundbreaking reality TV. It really would have. I'm not even non-biasedly I don't think anyone was letting it fly like we were. It was just so candidly transparent and racy and fucking sexual and to the point where we sat down and we just we loved it because we're all fucking animals.
Sure.
But then we're just everything we've built up to now, and I've done this independent thing. It's been a rare journey for us, but to sign it over and go to the network and do something like this, where I've kept my creative control the whole way through my career, musically especially, and to make that switch, I started getting fucking really cold feet about it, I remember a conversation with us just this is not going to be something we want to look at in 5 years.
Sure. Yeah.
Just not,
Yeah.
And that was 3 years ago, I think, or maybe 3.5. And I'm already wouldn't want to look at it if we did that version of the show.
Sure.
Right. So we end up kind of backing out. But we had enough shit, other shit. Did you actually see
I watched
our
it?
show?
Yeah, I watched it.
So that tone, it's obvious. I'm pretty multifaceted, and we have we're very rah party shit. But then I'm also have a motivational, just real relatable side.
Yep.
And we had enough to make another kind of pilot from that angle, and we ended up getting in talks with Esquire, which was a network that was failing, or not failing, but just a sister network to E, and had pretty much knew it would be maybe 1 or 2 years before they folded. But they allowed us to have as much creative control as we possibly could. There was some scenes we were editing in our fucking house, that were ended up on TV, which was cool. So, and ended up being a product I can live with now. And the job was done in the sense, I didn't want to be famous for being a reality TV star.
It's not sustainable.
Fucking running
It
around
might be nowadays, but
it kind of is, but it's just not who I wanted.
Sure,
and I knew some of the Jersey Shore guys, we were on similar club runs and shit, and I just, no shade at them at all. It would have been that on steroids, and it wouldn't have been, I don't think it would have been serving for my bigger purpose. I just kind of knew, Let's go back to you. We signed up for that. Steve's our fucking dog opens doors. Have you seen it yet?
No.
I gotta show you guys. So it's been 2 years since we let him out.
Steve's
well fed, little husky.
Yeah.
But it's really, I took him to the vet because a lot of people chirp him for being fat. I feel bad for my guy, so I took him to the vet about it, and it's kind of his build. They said his body fat.
He's just
they
big
said
bones.
he's healthy as fuck. It's
good.
So the Australian Shepherd's just a little on the shorter, chunky side.
I love it. Good.
There's no Steve slander on this fucking podcast, all right, guys?
Good.
I love you, Steve. But we signed up for that.
Yeah.
So tour is a very mentally challenging place as much as the best.
Mm-hmm.
But, in that deep down as a man, you're like, I fucking did this, so we're going to do this and we're going to execute it. We did. But all that being said, we fucking hated the experience overall. You're hungover as balls, roll out of the fucking bunk on the bus. They're miking you up.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to be on fucking TV, right?
No.
So you get thrown into that on top of all the shit.
Bro, I'm coming off the plane after draft night. Draft night.
So right into it.
Draft night was.
Were you aware?
Bananas. First of all, you get drafted and then go out with
you
your
gotta
friends.
you gotta walk us through draft night. As much
he was there
as much as you can.
You know Robbie. Robbie was there.
Of course.
Draft.
How was it? Special? It was a special one.
Draft night. So you get drafted. You do all the media. I did like 3 hours of media.
Mm-hmm.
Thrown on Jimmy Kimmel, by the way, like without being told. Like they're like, all right, here's a camera, here's a mic. All right, you're live on Jimmy Kimmel. I'm like, wait, what?
Wow.
So Jimmy Kimmel.
Right,
like,
from the draft.
10 minutes off the stage. Like immediately. Do like 3 hours of media. I get to dinner. Our agents had scheduled a dinner for my family and my friends. This restaurant. No idea what it was called. I mean, like no idea.
Whole thing's a blur.
Whole thing's a blur. I get there at probably 11:30 dinner, right? Draft was at 5. Get there at 11:30.
Drained.
Trying to eat, trying to, drink water, whatever. Directly upstairs of this restaurant was the club. Like above us, like
in LA.
No, in Chicago.
Okay.
On top in the second floor.
Chicago's fly.
It was fun. Oh, it was great. I'd only been to Chicago then. I've never been back. We go up there. We have a great time. We rip it up till whatever in the morning. I slept an hour. I wake up 6 a.m. I woke up. I went to bed at 4 or 5 and woke up at 5 or 6.
Get on a plane.
Get in a car. Go to an airport. Get on a plane.
Private? Not yet. This makes it all worse. These are
it was first
details.
class.
Yeah.
I was sitting next to my mom, so I was taken care of.
You had the comfort.
Yes. She was asleep the whole time, so there wasn't much I could do but sit there by myself and try to close my eyes.
Right.
Try to get some sleep. I'm wearing the clothes I wore the day before. Like I'm somewhat a wreck at this point.
Yeah.
I mean, it's I didn't sleep, and it's like the longest week of your life.
That's literally, how I was saying on the bus.
Yeah.
That was us every day.
So I
had no idea where I was. I'm like, fuck.
So I get off the plane. I go off, and they actually let us walk off, like onto the tarmac. They had cars there to pick us up, and they're like TV camera, like on the bottom of the stairs.
Oh my god.
And I'm like, oh man, like rubbing my eyes, like waking up, like, all right,
that's terrible.
They're like, here's a mic, blah blah. I get in a car, I get in an SUV. And there is 8 GoPros in this SUV. I'm like, all right. I get to this is the next morning. So this is morning after in LA now. I get to the hotel. They take me to the hotel. Get there and I'm like, all right, now I get some time to kind of breathe and relax and gather myself here. And they're like, all right, put your suit on, 30 minutes. We have your press conference. I'm like, what? So I go to my room, I take a shower, I eat some whatever hotel food they have in there, or drink some water. I'm totally fine at this point. I'm just tired. Like I'm just exhausted.
Right.
Get to the press conference, meet all the coaches, do the press conference, hang out for a little bit. It's all a blur. It's all going so fast. Like I'm just trying to keep up with it. That night, finally get to go to dinner with my parents, my family, and that's when it kind of was like, oh, all right, like we're here, we made it, like good job, and everything kind of settled down. But it was the same experience. Yeah. Like it was like, I really don't want to be on camera right now.
Yeah. So was that ever a conversation at all? Were you aware of like
cameras off the plane?
All right, so obviously Hard Knocks did their deal with the Rams. In order, it was a done deal that they were ready.
Yes.
This was them.
Yep.
So did you know going into it that like you were going to be on Hard Knocks if the Rams took you? You knew that. You were aware.
Correct.
You just didn't know that it was going to be fucking.
And I didn't really know much about Hard Knocks.
Because you guys were an earlier season.
I just had never really watched it.
Right.
Like I had never really like dove into it. I watched episodes.
There might have been
there.
a few seasons.
It was the Houston Texans season was the year, right? The only season I ever saw parts of. So I didn't really know much about it. I just knew it was like, okay, they're going to film us at training camp. Great. I didn't know they were going to be building storylines and building characters and doing different things. And I don't want to hate on Hard Knocks because I've had this conversation so many times with people with the Rams and people with NFL films, and the people with NFL films and Hard Knocks were incredible.
Trust me,
they did a great job.
Yeah.
The camera crew, the director, the producer were incredible people. The process of Hard Knocks and like the way that they had to do things per the network, it's not fun. Not especially as a rookie quarterback trying to figure everything out. It's just not fun.
You really got thrown into the fucking fire. Yeah. And honestly,
in some ways,
You did, and it honestly probably had a lot to do with just like gearing you up for the next phase of like you're obviously already an even keel guy, already a guy who can deal with turmoil, you know, given what got you here. But that's like at a whole other level.
No, it was intense, and it was like again, I had no idea what to expect. That training camp, I'm doing my best to learn the playbook,
Right.
let alone be worried about not knowing where the sun rises in like an offhand conversation that I had that was so quick. Like you, I mean, you guys all like you say something stupid like maybe once or twice a day, like, and you just like don't like.
It's human.
But they have cameras everywhere and they catch it. You know, it was like an offhand like comment I said to somebody, and then they spun it into this whole story. And it's like, oh,
so were you like butthurt about it?
No, because
I like fuck these guys.
I'm like I thought it was like kind of funny, and like I was bummed that they like actually made it a thing, that like it became like a thing.
I didn't really see it. I just know.
They just like framed it as like me being dumb, which is like whatever. But
and which honestly,
I thought it was funny.
Yeah, I'm sure that's what it meant. But it's also you got your football people, the football guys, like quarterback can't be dumb. This is
exactly,
bad.
100%. And then you get that, and it's like, oh, he doesn't know where the sun rises. How he's gonna learn the plays? How's he gonna know the defense? How's he gonna know how to do this? And that was like, again, it's Joe Schmo on Twitter saying that, so you really don't care, but it's like part of what you're dealing with.
Right. You ready?